been a few days since that last clip. So after all that smoke, I realized that this engine needs to be either rebuilt or cleaned out or something. At least going through a little bit. So I had plans of pulling it either way, if nothing else to seal it up. And as luck would have it, I sent a message through eBay of all things. I was buying a small part or two, a gas cap or fuel cap for this. And I asked the guy, hey, would you happen to have any parts for one of these? And he sent me back a picture of 40 or 50 cars. Some of these and a little bit of later ones, pontons. And we got to talking, and next thing you know, I'm traveling 200 miles to get this. Look at this. This is out of a 56 ponton, a 180D. Supposedly it was rebuilt kind of recently. I don't know about that. He never saw it run, but had an engine stand. It's free, turning at least. The guy was in a wreck in this car and walked away from it. And so that's a testament there to the cars. Pretty bad wreck, but either way, all he had to give us some stitches. There you go. You can see right here. Look at that. 56. It's almost the same. Well, it is a 636, but you know, a few things are different. Like mine has the fan up here. I don't have this weird bracket, and mine doesn't mount to the timing cover, but that could all be changed. It does thankfully have a good throttle body, and as we got to talking more, I ended up getting, and you're right, a transmission. This is from a 180D. I won't cover it all the way. And also, you'll notice in that first video, I'm missing those panels that go up and down. Fender panels, I don't know what you want to call them. Anyway, he had those. It was off of a 187 car. I think that's what it's called. Not the same car, but essentially the same body. They have headlights like made in the Defenders, and mine are on top. And I got a windshield, though not in good shape, but good enough to use. And even a starter. I mean, it's pretty cool. So this thing right now is unhooked. I'll give you some shade there. This thing right now is unhooked from the transmission. The book says to take it out at an angle together by lifting up the front wheels and somehow levering that thing out. I can tell you that's just not going to happen. Tried that. There's no room. Now the next picture in that book also shows the body's off the frame. So maybe that's what they did. Anyway, separated it. You see down here that weird dip that has to clear that tube. The only way I could get that was get the box off the transmission. There you go. Now you see what I see. Also, for what it's worth, the time since I had it running, I've done almost all the brakes now. You can see a little bit of copper lines going, or night-top going on there. I rebuilt the master cylinder. A wee bit of pitting, but I'm going to have to roll with it. I don't think it's going to be bad. All the wheel cylinders were destroyed, though. So I have a lathe in there, in the building. I bored out the ones on the back and put them on the front. The ones in the back were 7/8. I just bored them out to an inch standard size, and there you go, that works. They can interchange on all the wheels bolt on. And then the old inch ones, I bored them out enough to clean them up and put in brass water pipe. And with Loctite 680, I did get a wiper motor from that guy and the linkage, but not the wiper arms, because there's two different styles. Wasn't sure which one mine has. It's either a kind of a tapered with kind of threads, or it just clamps on. Well, guess what? I have both. What's that tell you? Somebody had to have a parts car. This thing was pieced together. I did get a hood hinge. No trim. I just simply couldn't afford it. I won't go into that, but I just couldn't do it. That's all there was to it. I'd rather have the engine and transmission drive the car than have chrome. I do have the fuel tank out. This thing's pretty nasty. I've shook it around, had acid and even electrolysis at one point in it. The massive dent. Here's the radiator. That thing is crazy heavy. Looks to be in really good shape. It was just sitting on there too while it was running, so that's kind of scary. I never got a radiator cap for this. It would have a star on it, but I did get this. One of these, they're identical to that fuel cap. Just one says diesel and one doesn't. That would have actually gone on this, on the fuel tank. But it also goes perfectly onto there. I was just trying to save a little where I could. Now I know that if pressure, anything builds up, it's going to blow something. So I'll put a little valve or I'll figure something out on this. It doesn't hold barely anything. I looked at the one the guy had. It barely has anything. Maybe a pound of pressure, half a pound of pressure cap on it. So that's not a big deal. And I'd also tried to see if a W123 wheel would fit. It does fit, but it would look stupid, and more to the point, you'd have to run spacers in the front, which that's just not a good idea. Here are, turn a little bit, there's those fender panels right there. Most excited about that. That's crazy. Find those. Only way you find those is find the car. Here is a flywheel off that engine outside, the new one to me at least, a 56. So I have an issue with mine in the car that you can just push it down with your thumb, clutch pedal. I mean, it works, but that couldn't be right. It feels awfully light and something that's kind of slippy. Here's one off that old wrecked ponton, and I'm going to use it. And the clutch that comes out is crazy good. Notice? It's diesel. See? Diesel. This goes towards the transmission as you're looking at it this way. Crazy clutch. There we go. So these flywheels are balanced to the engine, so you have to keep the flywheel. I guess get it rebalanced. Anyway, I don't think it's pinned either, so you have to put it on exactly the right timing mark, throw off the crankshaft balance. There is no harmonic balancer on these or anything like that. This has an oil filter, which cool, you know. It actually has one. Whether it's a replaceable insert or more of a screen, I don't know. But there's actually a canister going down. That's the more modern style. And I think I have to run this just for clearance if nothing else. A side filter. Well, I bet that's right. And then you can see here was my breather tube on the engine. Right there. And somebody replaced the flexi disc. Hang on. All right, what do you think there? the hole. See, that ground's a little wet. And for this. Crap. That's got to come up. Well, we got that right at least. Let's go up and out. All right. Well, we'll get there. So I talked about in the first video that I had a very awful time of timing it. Here's those marks. There. And there. So I was spot on. I did time it right. Eventually. That's neat. Has to go back in the car too. Real placeable. That other one's from a ponton, so that won't work. There's where the old thing went. Just has a pipe there, pipe there. That's it. Pretty simple. Good engine though. That's cool. You can see where it drug. It's one thing using a tractor to pull the lift out, but quite another to put the engine back in, isn't it? You can see how tight all this is. Man, that thing is in there, isn't it? Transmission has to come up and out the way it looks. Ugh, unless I can twist it sideways. I don't think it can. There's that throwout bearing. Oh yeah, that's rolling. Here. See, it was supposed to have been oiled. There's your oil line from your oiling system. Remember the oiling system? Anyway, somebody unhooked the oiling system. So our bearings were running dry. Who knows how long? I believe the 180D transmission that's going back in doesn't have that. It's just a normal bearing. So we're going to run with that. There's your weird emergency brake. The steering's really tight on it and everything. The frame is excellent. Greasy and dirty. That's the way I like it. It's excellent. I mean, perfect. You can see here. Here's an oiling line. Somebody cut it. This car's had so many modifications. I mean, it's going on 70. So, stands to reason. I definitely think somebody had two of these. Anyway.